The day has finally come. I didn't want it to come to this, but it did, and I can't do anything about it. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy a 10? Is it a 6? No, it's not a 6. Disclaimer, shout out, it's not a 6. Yesterday I watched Neil Drop's re-review of the album, and he still thinks it's a 6. You guys, it's not just a 6, it's a light 6. Neil Drop says it is a light 6. But today we're not countering out, we're not bringing Needle Drop's review into question, we're bringing Pitchfork's review into question, asking, is the album a 10? It is the 10-year anniversary, came out in 2010, talking about it in 2020, feels appropriate, 10 years, let's go. Surprisingly, the album only has 11 full-length actual songs because Who Will Survive in America, the final track on the album, is really just an outro. It's not a song. And then there's the All of the Lights interlude. So really, this album only has 11 songs. It doesn't feel like a short album, though, because the songs themselves are very long. Most of the songs in this album are really lengthy, around like 6 to 7 minutes. I think Runaway is like 9 minutes long. So yeah, it doesn't feel like a short album, even though it's not. I don't know. It's only 11 songs. There are a lot of guest artists on this album. I feel like I need to mention some of these because they're some big names, and it's honestly kind of this album just like radiates the sense of power just in the guest list. I mean, on Gorgeous you have Kid Cudi and Raekwon, like, you know, the rapper from the 90s. You have Rihanna on All of the Lights. You have Jay-Z is on the songs Monster and So Appalled, and he is a force to be reckoned with. He just feels powerful. Like, he feels like a monster on the song Monster, especially with his lyrics, his delivery, and on So Appalled, he just has this very powerful presence. You have Rick Ross on the songs Monster and Devil in a New Dress, and he is once again a force to be reckoned with. His really deep, heavy voice and performance. Nicki Minaj reads the intro. She introduces the entire album, kickstarts this album on Dark Fantasy. Also drops a very lengthy verse on Monster. You also have RZA and Swiss Beats and Pusha T on So Appalled. And Pusha T is also on the song Runaway. You may have heard of it. Dang, the wind is so loud and crazy. You also have Bon Iver on this album. Apparently, he's on the song Monster, and he's also on the closer Lost in the World, which you can really tell from its very highly auto-tuned sound and very electronic vocals. And, yeah, this is a powerful album. Like, and even John Legend on the song Blame Game. So you have people outside of the world of rap and people within, like you have people in the R&B world, you have people in the alternative world, you have a lot of the biggest name rappers, like I think I already said, yeah, Kid Cudi on Gorgeous. This is an insane album, just from a guest artist perspective, just in terms of the guest list. I have a couple problems with this album. Now, given most of my issues with this album, after listening to it over again, I used to really not like this album. I listened to it a ton for this review, and the album has grown on me like crazy. And there's a few things that still kind of bug me. The ending of Power, the way Power is supposed to be, lyrically is a very powerful song, and theoretically it's about a power trip where he's doing all this stuff, and he starts doing like cocaine, does all these drugs, and he kills himself, is the theme of Power. But the way the music is delivered, and the delivery of the lines at the very end of the song where he literally kills himself, is so weak and so lame, it's just like, why? What's up with this? It just doesn't emotionally, it doesn't connect emotionally. Like it just feels really not, it doesn't have the darkness and the gravity that it needs when you're talking about suicide. The song All of the Lights is a mess. And you know what? There is meaning to the chaos. There is meaning to the crazy overproduction. Like, you have Rihanna singing, and you have all this and this and this, and it just feels like, for me, it's just kind of an overwhelming song. The more I've listened to it, the more I'm able to kind of piece it together, and the more it has grown on me a lot. And I do think it's a good song, but I do think it is a little messy, a little bit all over the place. It gets better as the song progresses. Still, it's kind of a mess. And then Monster is really just a hype song. It really doesn't serve a ton of purpose on the album, and these verses don't serve a ton of purpose on the album. Musically, it's very repetitive. It is a very good hype song. Don't get me wrong. It is a good hype, flexor, fun song. But it doesn't fit super duper well into the context of the album, in my opinion. I don't really see how it connects super well. And just, you know, it just, all the other songs really do serve a purpose, and the theme and the concept of the album, of this crazy celebrity lifestyle, this insane life that he's living, or it's actually like him imagining it, but this crazy life he envisions, and then Monster just feels like a hype song. But still, very good hype song. Last two complaints. Blame Game is a great song. Really great. John Legend brings a ton to this track. He's a really great feature on this thing. Great hook, great verses, great concept, great lyrics. And then you have the outro. The outro is last 3 minutes is a voice call of Chris Rock talking to this girl, talking about how great his birthday was because they had sex and it was apparently awesome. And he's like, dude, why was that so awesome? And she's, where'd you learn how to be good at sex? And she's like, Yeezy taught me. And it's comedic. It's supposed to be comedic. It's Chris Rock, and of course he's doing his voice, and he's doing his voice. He's a very funny person. But it's supposed to be comedic, and you have the really dramatic music playing in the background. The really dramatic, amazing piano music. Just doesn't fit. Doesn't make any sense. This outro is very long, it's very lengthy, and it just doesn't make sense in the context of the song. It kind of takes weight, it takes away from the song, which just stinks that they would just kind of mess it up like that. Yeah, that's not great. And then you have the outro to the album, Who Will Survive in America. This is a terrible outro. Musically, I mean, it sounds pretty epic, but it literally serves no purpose in the album whatsoever, and it's just the words being spoken, it's kind of terrible. It's supposed to be really radical and insane, and it just comes across as Kanye trying way too hard to like Needle Drop said this in his re-review, just tries way too hard to be dramatic and have this album mean something that it really doesn't, and just kind of add this extra political about America message. And actually, when Kanye is being political on this album, when he is trying to address larger issues, like on So Appalled and Gorgeous, he does a fantastic job. Just this song doesn't do anything for the album, and it's completely pointless. Now, sorry, the sun is in my face, kind of. If I wasn't wearing this hat, I'd be blind right now. This album doesn't have a single bad song on it. I think it does have a bad outro track, but that's not a song. That's like an interlude, it's an outro. I don't count that as a song. The music on this thing is absolutely fantastic, and I feel like I don't need to say that because everybody thinks this is an amazing album. All critics, all regular people love this album. People just love this album. I think it was #1 highest rated album of the decade by the user votes on Pitchfork. Like Pitchfork said, now let the people decide what the best album of the decade is, and they said Dark Fantasy. And I can see why. It's just musically, this album is fantastic from start to finish. Lyrically, the theme is explored extremely well. The concept is extremely well done. Performances on this thing are top notch. Even Nicki Minaj does a good job, which is crazy. I really like the way she opens the album. It's everything she does is cringy. So it came off a little cringy at first, but it actually has grown on me, and it has a very iconic way to start the album. And I think this is a really fantastic album. I have nitpicks with it, but still, album doesn't have a bad song. Most of the songs are actually amazing. Some of the best rap songs of the decade. Some of Kanye's best songs ever. I'm going to have to give this thing a light 9 out of 10, obviously. I didn't want to believe the hype. I've been telling people I hate this album for so long, and then I decided to make this video, and I had to sit down and listen to it, and I realized, it is overhyped. I would say it is overhyped because it's not a perfect album. Most critics have given it a perfect score, and it's not a perfect album. It is flawed. Very small, nitpicky flaws. And, you know, Monster is just kind of there. And then All of the Lights is kind of not as good as everything else. And then the outro on that song is pointless. And then the outro to the album is kind of pointless. But whatever. Still a fantastic album. What's your favorite Kanye album? What's your favorite Kanye song? Is this album a 6? Let me know down in the comments.